Hey guys, I'm just doing something a little different today. I'm going to talk over a speed draw video, and what I want to discuss is here I'm drawing a new piece of art based on an old piece of art from about 2014 of my two characters, Maddy and Mary, sitting in the rain, having they're having some drinks together. So, but their attitudes are like they're both being they're facing away from each other, but from their body language you can see that as much as these two conflict and how different they are, they very much complete each other. And I just wanted to talk about these two characters because they mean a lot to me. Now, in this drawing, I'm drawing their pony versions, and the reason for that is because the My Little Pony Generation 5 is releasing soon, and although I don't want to talk about my thoughts on that yet, I'm probably going to wait until a trailer is out for that before I disclose my thoughts on G5. It's mainly to talk about the Maddy and Mary dynamic, because people that have followed me for a while will understand and recognize that these two characters are essentially me. Now, I don't necessarily mean that they both represent two different sides of me. I think it's very much a mix between both characters, and I think I would have to say that they both represent creativity, in the sense that I guess Maddy would represent the disciplined side of creativity, the more analytical side, whereas Mary is very much more about spontaneity. And you can't really, sometimes when you create something, you can't really explain how or why, it just happens. And a lot of people operate out of that side of creativity more than the analytical side. And it's good to have a balance between the two, because creativity is it's a phenomenon. It's impossible to explain the why behind creativity, but I think you can formulate a reason for the action that eventually produces something out of that, and that journey is different for each person. And I think in a way, these two characters, for me, it's kind of representing the relationship between the creator and the creation, or the creator and creativity itself. Like, in my mind, Maddy is the creator and Mary is the creation. And Mary she's very aware of who she is and what she is, and she absolutely adores herself and thinks she is she believes that she is perfection personified, and she oozes that confidence. And all of that confidence in herself is something that Maddy does not have. She is not confident in herself at all. She has to work really hard to do anything in her life. She can't rely on magic like Mary can. To get anything done, she has to really dig her heels in and do things the old-fashioned way. And I believe, even though these two are friends, and Maddy would be able to ask Mary to make things easy for her, to just, hey Mary, can you do this for me, because if you do it, it will be easier, because you can just do things with magic immediately. I personally feel that Maddy would not do that. She would want to be able to do things for herself so that she can feel the accomplishment that doing things for yourself brings. And I believe that Mary would respect that. I don't think Mary would ever force Maddy to use magic. I think as much as Mary would probably not understand the value of accomplishment because things would come so easy to her, I think for Mary, I think she would be a little bit jealous, because she would be able to do anything and everything but never be able to explain the how. And I think this is why these two characters work so well off of each other, because, as I said earlier, they do complete each other in a way. That, like, if Mary has a question, Maddy usually has the answer. Not always, but sometimes. Or, they do annoy each other. Mary was created as a flaw for Maddy. Like, when I first created Mary, she was meant to be a one-off character, just a joke character, in a video about alicorn OCs in the MLP fandom, because I was getting sick and tired at that point of always seeing these Alicorn OCs being overpowered and, you know, perfect in every way. Like, there was no relatability to these characters, and I was finding it rather boring and repetitious. So I made Mary as a joke character, and now she is a parody of the ideal Mary Sue character that was pretty much brought about by the Star Trek fandom. There was a Mary Sue character made in a very famous fanfic where, you know, she was a child prodigy. She had connections with the very well-known captains and admirals, and she was able to do anything and everything came very easy to her, which, you know, to me that's a very easy character to write because there's nothing for her to fight against or fight with. And, you know, when you have a character that is like that and you're meant to take it in a sincere way, it's just not possible for me. So I felt that Mary over time just became my frustration at, you know, characters that are made that are easy to write for, and not only easy to write for but impossible to relate to. However, I think over time Mary evolved to have a very naive side, and I do feel that that naivety is something that people connect with, but I also think that she believes she is perfect in every way, but she has to believe that because deep down she knows she's not. And I think she would worry that if people found out she wasn't this perfect being, you know, people would turn against her or turn away from her or stop being friends with her. But I think the fact that she's friends with Maddie is because maybe it's because Maddie is straight with her. She tells her she's annoying. She tells her straight that she's being dumb. So maybe in the past, Mary's been with people who have lied to her and taken advantage of her naivety. So Mary actually feels like Maddie is a more authentic friendship for her. I don't know, maybe. I mean, you can come up with your own interpretations here. Because these characters are used as avatars on YouTube, I very much believe that other people that view these characters on my YouTube channel have every right to put forth their interpretation, because I don't think there is such a thing as a wrong interpretation. I think lots of different people's inputs will help these characters evolve more and help me be able to tell their story more, because these characters do have backstories, they do have a story on how they met. It's just over time, it's something that I have not felt comfortable in telling because it's in a very raw state, but also I wanted to attempt to tell the story in a visual way in a comic book form or something like that. So hopefully, as time goes on, this will happen. So thank you for listening to this video, and if you want to hear more or see more videos like this that are unscripted, obviously, please let me know in the comments below. And yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I'm Mad Munchkin. Stay creative.